Ridgeway Bar and Grill is the third restaurant to be in this physical location that I've owned and operated. The Chef's Garden came here in 1976. We opened a restaurant upstairs in 1978, and they were active until 1996. Ridgeway Bar and Grill, where we are at this minute, opened in the fall of 2001. And this is my 49th year in the restaurant business. I bought a restaurant from a couple in Milwaukee in 1971. I'd been out of the Air Force for 6 weeks. I had a BA in history. I had no business being in the restaurant business, but I did it anyway. I did what I knew at the time. So that's all we can do. You just keep learning and you keep doing what you know, and then hopefully you get better. I've been in the kitchen much of my life. I still write the menus. I still expedite. I just finished a chef's meeting this afternoon where we talk about details of the kitchen. We talk about new items that are coming up on the menu in a couple of weeks. We talked about some new desserts which are coming up. I have spent the last 6 weeks sitting at that desk over there talking to people about the cookbook. I'll have people say to me, I first came here 40 years ago with my grandparents for Christmas, and then my parents and my grandparents and I started coming here for Thanksgivings. In the book, I talk about time and place because you can be in a special place in the world at a special time in your life, and you can taste something and that memory sticks with you. And I think that's what happens here, is that people talk about the time and the place when they were here, and it established a really good memory for them. The book is called Kitchen Privileges. My dad, when I would be in the kitchen as a 10 or 12-year-old and he would be roasting a leg of lamb, he'd say, thank you for being in the kitchen while I was getting this ready. And he would take a knife and he would cut off a little sliver with a little bit of fat, a little bit of meat on it. He would say, these are kitchen privileges. The first and best tastes go to those who love what goes on in the kitchen or participate. But this is the only career job I've ever had, and the only career job I ever will have, and the only career job I ever want. The book talks about things like taste. It talks about things like aroma. A chapter in there talks about salt, talks about the senses of the kitchen. When you walk into the kitchen and what is it that you smell? What is it that you see? What is it that you hear? What is it that you just feel in the air? There's over 200,000 words. It's 512 pages. It's 300 or 400 photographs. It's stories about how the restaurants began. It's stories about where my culinary influences came on. It's stories about my love of food and my passion for food and where that came from. It's stories about places that I visited that had an effect on me in the food world. It's got great recipes. The recipes were all tested in our house because they have to be home tested. They can't just be, oh, well, the chef can do it. And I've got to thank my daughter for helping me with that, and I especially have to thank my wife, because she would sit with me and she'd go, I know you think the recipes are really good, and they are, but they're really good for somebody like you who already knows how to cook. So we worked in a method of how to communicate what they were, and they're all in bullet points rather than in long paragraphs. The recipe might have 10 bullet points, it might have 50 bullet points. So you look at one, you go, I got that. Then you look at I got that. I think still most people are gonna go, yeah, I read the recipe, but I'm coming to you to cook it for me because it's more work than I want to do. But if you really want to cook it, it can be done. I don't know if I have a legacy. But to hear people talk about this restaurant, we talked about the words time and place, and that time and place will continue to go on in other people's lives. You're always looking for somebody to say that what you did was what you set out to do, and I think we did.